besides the books?
I'm working on a poetry book. I'm working on a children's Christmas book. I'm working on a book called Coal Camp House. And in West Virginia, coal miners back in the day lived in coal camps. And they had coal camp houses where you lived in a house. You could only rent the house if you were a coal miner. And so it's just long stories. I'm not sure how it's going to go yet. So that's what I'm doing.
I think all of this officially makes you a writer.
Storyteller. There's an Irish word called sanashi, and it's like an Irish Gaelic word, and it's sanashi, and it's a storyteller. And storytellers aren't necessarily good writers; they're just good storytellers. so that's what
I have a question. After you wrote the first book, was it a lot easier to write the second?
it was easier to write the second one because I already had these people in my mind that are already developed. However, I got to tell you, I had a lot of help because I didn't want to make the same mistake with the second book that I did the first book. So I postponed like 2 or 3 years because I kept saying, well, it's not right, not right. And so I decided to ask several people if I would do it like a draft in a little book. I made the cover, like this. Would they read it and critique it? And so several people said they would. John Perry, Dr. John Perry, for who you folks know, in case you don't know that. Eleanor Irons, and nobody here. But anyway, the acknowledgements are in here, and Ann Walters. And I put together a form for them to answer questions. And I asked them if they would, and we kept that secret from you, Blanche. Our shady ladies.
The lady in Colorado who we don't even know.
We don't know. So I asked different people if they would critique the book and give me their opinion, or give them a critique, and it would help me, and it would help me tremendously. Susan Hayes, who used to be a member of our church, was one of my readers. And then she asked her sister in Arizona to read it, who's an avid reader. She's about 85 years old or something. I said, sure, I'll send it to her, and she filled out the form. So all these were really helpful. My daughter had a friend who was a teacher in Cranford High School. He did it in landscaper. And so all these people took the book, and it's amazing how many different critiques you can have with the different things. Like the landscaper, I just put a book cover together, and he said to me, the first paragraph in the book got my interest, but I would never buy the book. I said, oh, thanks. He said, because it was boring, it's the cover. Well, I just put an Indian girl on the cover and handed it to him. It wasn't the cover I was going to use. So he said, you need to have fire. So he said, she's running away from the village, it's on fire. I said, oh, okay, good. So I told my son that. And then when he did the cover, he put a lot of fire on the island because she is running from a village that's set on fire. And so that was just one critique, and then different people gave me different things. When it was totally finished, I gave it to Marilyn Stallwell, and she was next to the vice person. And I said, do me a favor, check out the punctuation, because that's my big fear, is putting the comma in the wrong place, or period, or semicolon, or whatever. So she did that, she took that. So there's about 15 names here. Catherine Fellman. Catherine Fellman was, Catherine Fellman was very instrumental. All the people that were I call them my readers. I went out to John's house, and we sat and we talked, and he gave me his opinion.
I moved my lips.
He was very opinionated.
Doesn't John write? Don't you write?
John is a writer. John is a writer.
Yeah.
His wife is an artist.
There was a girl from that kind of stuff. That's me.
You guys who don't know John Perry. John Perry is actually still a member of our church. He was our neighbor. He was our Bible study teacher. And let me think. Cohort.
I have a question for you. My granddaughter asked this. What age threshold should you be to read these books?
I would say, modern teenagers are so young. You could say 15 and really mean 13. But to understand it, I would say a teen.
Yeah.
I read it. I'd say 14.
14.
Yeah.
Mature 14.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you just say
Yeah,
to the
about
parent,
14.
it would benefit if you
Yeah.
read that along with them,
Yeah.
because that way if they have questions. But it's trust me.
Her response
I've
would
read a
be,
lot of young
I'm
adult
11, I'm
literature.
ready.
Sorry about that. There's no filth in here, or innuendo, but, you know, I don't
Real
believe in,
graphic, yeah.
I don't believe I have to use really filthy words to get the point across. And if you say they took their hand and walked into the woods, you got a pretty good idea of what anyway, so, but anyway, the readers were amazing. The things, the different kinds of They all kept it to themselves too, which was wonderful. I said, please don't say anything to anybody, you know, because a lot of people. Oh, I'm going to tell you about Catherine Feldman, and then we'll get on to whatever history you're doing. When I wrote this book, the draft, not the book, I actually put it into a book because by the time I left that first publisher, I knew how to format a book because that's what they were making money on me on formatting. And by the time I did the second book, I know how to format a book. I can format it, help anybody if they want to publish a book. I can tell you exactly how to get it done. I can show you how to do it online. You check it, bring it back, put it back in again until it's perfect. Anyway, but I wrote this story, and I didn't even realize that the book is called Haunted River. So I met different people in different places. Met one guy at a diner, didn't even know this man. Friend of my daughter's, landscaper, and he said, "How about we meet at somewhere?"
Chelsea's.
Crazy? Is this? Anyway, I did, and he was the one telling me about the fire. But I went to Catherine's house, and she said, "I want to talk to you." She said, "But I don't want to just write it in a form. I want to really talk to you." Okay, so I went out to her house, and we had lunch. And she said, "Now I want to ask you a question." We talked about this book, and she knew the history of this book. We had talked. She said, "What's the name of this book?" I said, "The Haunted River." And she said, "Well, I read the book. I saw where she was born, and I saw at the end of the story where somebody died, and she would have to be there or whatever." She said, "But I don't see her at all during the story." And she said, and I never thought about that. She said, "Every single thing I noticed." I'm waving to you. Yeah. She said, "Everything in this book that happens has to affect her." I thought, whoa, that was so good. So I went right home and sat down and wrote all night long, and next morning. I write 3 o'clock in the morning. And every story in this book affects her. So, anyway, so that's the story behind that. So. Hi, Linda.